Hello everyone, my name is Simon and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar brought to you by CIMBA Italy, titled Live in Italy for 1 year and get an international MBA degree granted by a US university ranked among the top. Today you'll learn what the benefits of attending an MBA program with a strong focus on leadership development. What are the benefits? What makes the CIMBA program so unique and dynamic? What it means to be a part of their network, as well as who is the ideal candidate for this program and what scholarships are available. Joining us today, we have a lovely panel of 4 from multiple locations who will be introducing themselves just shortly. Therefore, allow me, without further ado, to pass the control to our first location, to Elle and Christina. Guys, please take it from here.
Good evening, everyone. Some issue with the left click, I guess, but it's not working now, of course. My name is Christina Piquet. I'm the director of the program, and I'm going to be guiding you through this presentation. And with me, there is, sorry, Simon, but I'm not really having any luck changing the slides now.
I do see that there are some issues. Perhaps a left mouse click or the touchpad click, and then the arrow key should take it to the next slide. Let's see if that helps.
No, it doesn't. Okay, got it.
Thank you.
So next to me, there is Dr. Al Ringleb, that is the president and founder.
Welcome to this webinar. Looking forward to it.
And connected through from 2 different locations, there is, let's start with Laura Furlan.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Laura Furlan, graduate from CIMBA in 2012. Originally from Italy, I'm currently working in London as senior management consultant for infrastructure projects. Very happy to be here tonight and talk to you about my experience at CIMBA.
Thank you, Laura. Next, connected from the West Coast, from Seattle, I think, Bernardo.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bernardo Medeiros. Also very excited to be here and talking to you guys. I attended CIMBA as an undergrad in 2006 and as a full-time MBA student in 2008. I'm originally from Brazil. Hopefully there's some Brazilians on the phone as well, or South Americans. And as Christina mentioned, I live in the Seattle area right now. And I just relocated from California, where I spent 3 years working as a senior category manager for Virgin Galactic's space program in Mojave. And right now I'm a commodity manager in the global supply chain team at Shape Technologies Group, which is a portfolio company in the water jet cutting business.
Thank you, Bernardo. As you saw on the list there, I'm also an alumna of the program because I was one of the pioneers in the first edition of this program. Tonight I asked Dr. Ringleb, Dr. Al to be here to participate, as he is the person that can better explain the philosophy behind the program, as he is the one that created it and really inspired it.
Thank you, Christina. I'd like to begin my presentation by asking you to do something for me. Each of you that are listening, I'd like you to take a moment, write down 5 traits or attributes that you would like to see in a preferred candidate if you and I were working for a large company and that large company was looking for a marketing manager. So let me repeat that. You and I are on the HR team. Our responsibility is to hire a marketing manager, and what I want you to do for me is write down the 5 traits or attributes that you would like to see in our preferred candidate. Now, I'll come back to those in a moment. Before I do, I'd like to tell you a little bit about me. I am the founder of CIMBA. Originally, I was teaching in an MBA program. I have all the professorial qualifications. I have a law degree. I have a PhD. And what it did is it gave me access to some of the very best MBA students. At the same time that I had those academic credentials, I also have owned or created or managed 15 different businesses. I'm working on the 16th. So I took those students and I began to hire them and put them into my companies. And one thing that I noticed immediately was that they were extraordinarily knowledgeable. In fact, I would be willing to say they're probably more knowledgeable than any other time in history. We do an extraordinary job of teaching them axioms, theorems, formulas, and principles, But the difficulty that I saw is they had a lot of difficulty to do something with that, to be able to use that information to make decisions, to solve problems, and to be able to persuade, motivate, inspire, and assist others to their point of view. At the same time, I was approached by a group of major universities in the United States and asked if I would be willing to create a business school in Europe. I saw it as an opportunity to not only create an interesting school, but at the same time to address some of those shortcomings that I saw as limiting the ability of a person with an MBA to get into a career track and really make something out of that degree. So what I'd like to do now is to move to the next slide. And I'd like you to look at our basic learning philosophy. But what I want you to do is to pay particular attention to the behavioral or being column. And what I want you to do is to compare what you see there with what you've written down amongst those 5 traits. We've done this 2,000 times probably in live demonstrations, and what we typically see with those 5 traits is they generally show up in the behavioral category. The other place that you might see them is in the process category, decision-making or problem-solving. But one of the things that I always find interesting is that we rarely see anybody write down the word MBA as being one of the key conditions. And again, what it shows me is that you and I understand the important ingredients to a successful career. It's not just the axioms, theorems, formulas, and principles, but it's the ability to do something with it, to understand what it's going to take to make decisions and solve problems, what it's going to take to be able to overcome those fears that keep us from being able to relate well to other people so that we can persuade, motivate, inspire, and assist them to a higher level of performance. Now, in all of that, when we teach process, and I'm going to stay away, I should tell you, I'm going to stay away a little bit from the professors because other people in the webcast will cover that. But I'm extremely proud of the quality of our professors. They come from this consortium of some 36 American universities. And I want to focus on resolving this issue that I saw. And the first thing that we did in the process category was bring in a company called Trigo to assist us in developing a methodology that's common language, common guidelines, everyone could share, and then building it into the learning environment so people understood what they could do with those axioms, theorems, formulas, and principles that were so well taught. The more difficult, more challenging thing for us was addressing this behavioral component part. You learn very quickly that in both those categories, you can turn them into knowledge by simply talking about them. But that isn't going to do you much good if you're really looking for behavioral change and becoming that leader manager that you really want to be. So we began to look at more advanced ways of understanding the behavioral component part. And that meant we took on some technology. And the technology allowed us to look at these things in a little bit more deep, profound way. So we brought in the technology to be able to understand if we could put you into simulated work environments, if we could put you in consulting projects and be able to measure your response, we would get an idea of your ability to manage stress. We would get an idea of your ability to sort of direct a team and the kind of environment that you were creating. So the bottom line in all that was understanding what it would take to go beyond axioms, theorems, formulas, and principles to be able to truly understand the important functions of decision-making, problem-solving, situation appraisal, and being able to put those into action. In addition, how then do we go outside of our offices and persuade, motivate, inspire, and assist people to our point of view? So at CIMBA, we really don't talk about leadership development. We actually engage in the actual act of doing it in very meaningful ways. With that, I would like to turn it over to Christina, who will take you through some of the more salient parts of the program.
Thank you, Al. So what I'm going to do now is cover some of the highlights of this MBA program or the aspects that make it unique. As you heard from Al, it's really focused on personal leadership development. The other aspect that you're going to see here, we're going to touch them all, but I'm just going to list them right now. You're going to get a U.S. degree. It's a one-year program. We are located in Italy. Small classes, world-class professors. It's international. I know someone already asked about it. And you'll see that it's also a smart investment. So let's start with what kind of degree you get. So first of all, the CIMBA degree is granted by the University of Iowa, by the TP College of Business. The MBA degree is ranked right now, the TP College degree is ranked 14 among the public MBA program in the United States. Here, you're going to get a specific degree from them, in the sense that, as you heard, we are not the one focused in finance, but we are the one focused on leadership development. The other aspect that is very important, it's 1 year. Many programs right now are a year and a half or even 2 years in length. Our program starts in September and starts in Italy and finishes in Iowa in July. We cover the same amount of courses, if you want. The number of credit hours are 58, are the same that many programs they cover, as I said, in a year and a half. That said, it means it's really intensive. You're going to be in class for many hours, and in addition to the classes, you have all the activities that Al just described in terms of the personal development activities, the one-on-one coaching, the consulting projects where you're going to be putting in practice some of those skills. And again, you're also going to have, for example, language classes. You're going to be taking Italian if you're not speaking Italian, or English if you do need to improve your English. So it's quite intensive. That said, we are located in Italy. We are in northern Italy, in particular in the Veneto region. It's an area that is highly entrepreneurial, is home to some of the companies that you see listed there, but there are many more that I'm sure you would be familiar with in terms of looking at the product. We are about an hour north of Venice, and as you see, we are halfway between the beach and the mountains, if you want. It says there it's a true Italian experience. Why? Because we are in a region that is not and in an area that is not a touristic area. We are in an area where people live and work. You'll be able to experience the sense of community of a typical Italian community. In particular, Asolo, by the way, it's also listed in, there is a book out there, 1,000 Places to Visit Before You Die. Well, Asolo is in that list. There is Venice, Rome, and many other cities in the world, but there is Asolo, just to give you an idea. And this is, just to show you where it is, this is actually a view from the study room, actually, the MBA study room. This is our campus and the mountains that we have in front. So that's for where we are. As I was mentioning that it's small by design, and this is because to support our leadership and personal development philosophy, we elected to have a small cohort of MBA students. The maximum size of our MBA full-time is 15 students. And this is also because in some of the classes, you're going to be interacting with about 20 or 25 students from the part-time program. This allows you to interact with people that have, again, different diversity of background, of work experience, and will give you a lot of extra interest if you want connection for the future. That small size is also the one that allows us to give each of the students personalized attention, not just in the coaching, but in the career advising. And generally speaking, the students and the faculty refer to it as the CIMBA family, because people not just study together, but they live together, they spend time together. And that's a concept that actually most of their former students and faculty refer to as the CIMBA family. As I was mentioning the faculty, our faculty comes generally from the consortium schools. As Al was telling you, the consortium was created more than 30 years ago with the intent of really allowing students and faculty to study internationally. And this allows us to bring not just University of Iowa faculty, but also faculty from other schools that have international consulting and teaching experience. And more than anything, and moreover, they are really trained to teach in this environment, because it's different to teach in an environment where you have students coming from all over with different background, with different years of experience, and it takes really a special person also to do that, and to be able to connect the dots among the leadership development, the processes, and the academic part. So that's something that we really pay attention with our faculty. Additionally, our program is really international in the sense that not you study in 2 continents. You have a group of students, as I was mentioning, that comes from all over, and that need to support each other, because if you think a person like Bernardo, for example, was coming from a country that is not Italian, so he didn't have any, he was out of his comfort, so to say, in the external environment and also in the academic environment, although probably he was already familiar with the U.S. academic system. Laura, on the other hand, was coming from an Italian environment, so she was in a comfortable area in terms of the external environment, but the academic environment, of course, she was not used to. And then there are people that come, again, from the U.S. or other countries, where, again, they are not at comfort, and again, they need each other to support each other, and that makes it part of the cross-cultural exchanges that go on throughout the program and throughout all the situations. You're going to have an opportunity to interact with some of the leading international companies that are in the area, but also when you are in Iowa, as you see there in the picture, for example, that's a company visit to John Deere. But in the consulting project, many of the companies that you're going to be working with are all international. Some of them export something like 95%. We just met one last week that exports 95% of their production, just to give you an idea. And these are some of the brands that you may be familiar with. So that's a little bit about the international part. Finally, I know that you're all interested in the financial aspect of the program. So first of all, by being 1 year, of course, not only you save on tuition and cost, but you also have the opportunity to go back in the work environment, and so go back, let's say, to a salary earlier than a 2-year program. It's affordable. It's less than $25,000 in tuition. Because we are in an area that is not a big city, the living costs are quite reasonable and probably comparable to many small places around the world. Finally, the consortium has always wanted to make the program approachable, and so not only by controlling the cost, the total tuition, but also giving some financial aid opportunities and some scholarships. I put down a few of the financial assistantship that we have and scholarships that we have available, but there are more on our website that I invite you all to go visit. So that's in terms of the cost. But I like really to see, to leave more space to the testimonial. So let me move through who is our ideal candidate. Our candidate, generally speaking, must have a university degree. We are looking for someone that has at least a 3-year university degree, as a work experience. Generally speaking, we would like to see a 2 years work experience, but sometimes we accept people that have lower experience, but they have life experience, what we call an opportunity. They had an opportunity of growth, if you want, personal growth, again, to allow for that personal development meaning that we look for. Then it's necessary, as we are ACSB accredited, you will need to go through either the GMAT or the GRE test. And finally, because all the program and all the classes are in English, we require the command of the English language. If you have the TOEFL, that's fine. Otherwise, we can go through a proficiency interview. That's a little bit of our candidate. in terms of where our students are, I just put down a list of companies. And again, there are many more, but this gives you an idea of where our students end up. And I can tell you that this list, it's interesting if we could attach also the countries where they work, because we have people working for the same company in multiple countries. And to me, that's a value that says that this MBA can be, if you want, put it in your briefcase and can travel with you wherever you go. Many of our students end up really working in countries where maybe they are not from, but again, because of the international aspect, they value the opportunity and they end up moving across continents and across countries. With that, I like to leave now the word to the microphone, if we want to our testimonial. And I like to start, since we were talking about being out of the comfort zone and what it meant for him. I like to start with Bernardo. Maybe you can explain a little bit what the CIMBA program did to you and how it affected in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for passing the mic over. So, guys, I'd just like to say there are quite a few MBA programs out there. You know, all the good ones are going to get you through the door, and most likely you're going to get compensated at a higher rate because of it. Not to mention it's a prerequisite today for most strategic positions. So I'll tell you guys a quick story about my experience at American Airlines a few years back. So when I was in Brazil 5 years ago, I decided to come back to the States. And I went to a career fair that was sponsored by the University of Iowa, and that's where I met someone from American Airlines at their booth, and he just so happened to be from Italy. So not only did I have the MBA right there in front of me with my CIMBA background, but I was also able to connect to that person. That connection led me to an interview. That interview led to a job. I moved with my wife to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was an amazing experience. And you know, we're trying to sell you guys the idea of an MBA. You know what the value is, but let me tell you this: I had the same title as my colleagues, but I was making about 20% more than they were on a yearly basis. That year right there, that first year that I spent at American, I pretty much paid for the MBA itself. But like I said, you know, that's just an MBA with a strong name. But the difference, the difference of participating in the CIMBA MBA is that it gets you to that next level, to the next level where you can't just learn from reading a book. You have to experience it. And the way that CIMBA sets itself apart from other programs has to do with learning who you are. And that means that you become introspective through a lot of awareness exercises, and you're able to think and develop your own opinions and your thoughts. And what's interesting is that I hadn't seen the presentation until about like half an hour ago, and all the things that I was taking notes about are exactly what Dr. Al and Christina are discussing through this webinar. So CIMBA, and I graduated about 7, 8 years ago. So CIMBA has a way of imprinting change that sticks with you, because those changes come from the inside out. So this program has a way of attracting the best minds out there, you know, both teachers and students from all over the world. I had classes with top professors from places like Stanford, Duke. I had colleagues from, of course, Italy and the US, but also from India, Canada. I myself am from Brazil. And so you're going to be putting yourself, like Christina said, in a position where you're completely outside of your comfort zone. And you're interacting with a group of highly capable and engaged people from a multitude of backgrounds on a daily basis for hours on end, but not just to pass your classes, but also to develop your personal brand. Now, what that means is that after all the challenges like the live program, the high ropes course, the cultural experiences, and the different perspectives that you'll be presented with, at the end, you'll be able to, you'll learn how to think for yourself. And you'll learn to come up with your own conclusions. because you'll develop a heightened sense of awareness. You'll be more aware of your strengths, your weaknesses, and you'll be able to overcome what you thought your limits were, and you'll be continually pushed to succeed and overcome, but not just by yourself, but as a team as well. So just to summarize, that's what really brings value to a company. And it's that strategic mindset that you can summarize into one word, which is vision, right? If you can see things before others, then you can anticipate them and bring value to your company, and you can also help avoid costly risks. And I could tell you guys, and maybe during the Q&A, there's going to be questions about how you can apply those things during your job and throughout your career. But long story short, the MBA is going to get you through the door. But what's going to get you through those steps, what's going to get you to advance in your career, is all the things that we've been pressing on, because those are the things that you carry with yourself, even through your handshake or even when you say good morning to someone. Those are the things that you learn at CIMBA. And it's tough to speak to 100 people about experiences because you just have to be there to understand how it works. But I'll quickly give you guys an idea of the Italian culture as well, which is the other aspect. I lived both on campus and with an Italian family, and you really get to develop a true understanding of the Italian culture, of another culture, right? And the Italian culture is beautiful. People have written about it and drawn paintings on it, and so there's something about it that you can only learn by being there and putting your nose to the ground. There's a lot of I'm not a drinking person, but I ended up having a glass of wine almost every night with my colleagues. You end up eating the best food in the world. And I'll just say this, the views of bucolic Italy with the rolling hills in the Veneto region, which is also known as the Prosecco region, which is the Italian bubbly kind of wine, is amazing. And I'll leave you guys with the last story here, which is, one of my teachers that we became very close with actually took us on a Prosecco trail, which was a half-day ordeal. And we went to all these little outposts that serve Prosecco, and they grilled meats, and they gave them to you. And it was just a sense of community. And so I hope that was a good idea to you guys of what the program is, what you can expect out of it, and what you can truly experience being an Italian for a year, so to speak.
Thank you, Bernardo. Your passion, I think you're ready to come back to live with us,
I think I am, yeah.
Let me move on to Laura now. And Laura, of course, being Italian, can tell us the different side, I guess. But she too had to experience what it means as an Italian to work with a group of students from all over. And maybe you can touch base on that and the experience that you had also during the consulting project, maybe.
Yes, of course. So first of all, just let me thank Bernardo for the amazing thing he said about Veneto, my region. I'm originally from there, and it's really amazing to hear how Asolo and the place where we study speak in the mind and the experience of people. So it's really amazing, and I think it was an amazing testimonial, of course. So one of the reasons why I actually decided to do CIMBA MBA, not another MBA in Italy, or in another country, was because of the international feeling and culture. So in my course, just to give you an idea, I wrote them down just not to forget. There were people from South Africa, Mexico, Nepal, Slovenia, India, and of course US and Italy. And you get to live with a lot of people from different cultures, from different countries, and you get to live with them day to day. It's not just about studying and meeting in the class, but understand what is their culture. Make you feel more open-minded and appreciate of other culture. And as Dr. Al showed in the first slide, what are one of the key elements of a manager or a leader is really about that, being open-minded, appreciate the culture of others. So CIMBA really helped me with that. And one of the reasons it's easier for me now working in a foreign country is also because of my experience that I had at CIMBA. The consulting project itself was an amazing experience. So I was coming from a manufacturing environment. I wanted to do become a consultant, and the consulting project from a technical point of view really helped me to understand how to set up a project, how to deal with clients. So the technical experience is one side, but what really enriches me the most is the opportunity to work with people from different cultures inside my team and different experience to understand how to get the best out of others. So it's not just about what you do, but what are your strengths, your skill, and this really helped me a lot to understand how to deal with people that have a different experience, skill than me, appreciate them. And of course, one of the key learning was around communication, engagement, empathy, inspiration. It's easy sometimes, can be easier to be a leader or a manager when you work with people that are like you, but the difficulty really comes when you've got people that see things differently. And one of the easiest examples was starting a meeting. So we had the Italian coming a few minutes later, let's have a coffee. The Mexican arriving maybe 20 minutes later, and the American ready to start the meeting. And this was creating an issue because everybody was seeing each other not respecting each other, because we're like, why you're not here on time? But we didn't know that. And so really working together, and also the coaching experience helped us understand that actually we need to understand what each other wants and how each other works. And that's the way that we can succeed together, because the leader is not just telling you what to do, but also managing you, inspiring you, and be respectful. So for me, really, CIMBA has kind of changed my mind, makes me step out from my comfort zone and really understand, appreciate each other, and take the best out of each other. That is what really helps you the most. And again, as I said before, one of the reasons why I've been able to find work abroad that different than many other people probably struggling with months is really being able to deal with people from different countries and experience and appreciate the English culture that is very different than the Italian one where I work now. And actually my first work experience was at Anton Airport as well, at Heathrow Airport. And one of my first workshops I deal with was with 6 different airlines from the East, from I think it was Singapore, India, China, Germany, and France. So we're all different representatives from this country, and it was a great experience, but it was easier for me because I knew how to approach it thanks to what I learned at CIMBA. And I really recommend this experience, so I hope that my testimonial will help you to know more about it. And actually, I think I've got a few people, also friends of mine, that have joined CIMBA this year. So, and I know they enjoyed it as well. So I'm happy to answer to any of the other questions you might have. Next.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much. I think we can now go to the questions. I think I lost the screen, to tell you the truth, but
Christina, if I may help you,
yes,
simply,
okay.
as just indicated by Christina, we've come to the Q&A part, but before we actually address and tackle your questions, allow me to thank today's panelists for sharing the much needed information for the audience. And now I believe that we can transition into the questions and answers part, and we actually do have a few questions already submitted. I believe that the one submitted by Enger would be a good one to kick things off, asking why is the course called an international MBA?
Well, I can answer, but it's because of what you just heard from all the comments that were given by both Aldo and Laura. That said, is not just in the aspect of living and studying internationally with a group of people from all over the world. It's also because by having to teach to such a diversity of people, the faculty also make sure that the subjects are dealt with in a way that satisfy all the international audience that they have in front. So they don't just talk about what it means doing accounting in the U.S., but what it means doing accounting internationally, what it means doing it in Italy as well. So the emphasis is both in the courses, but also in all the other two pillars, if you want, of CIMBA. So not just in the academics, but also how you behave and deal with people from all over the world.
I would only add to that, originally when they labeled us an international MBA, for me, every MBA that involves multiple cultures, understands the importance of growing global leaders with the ability to manage all the things that are global, that should be the MBA. The other category shouldn't be MBA versus international. It's MBA and not international MBA. I think ours is very heavily international in all aspects.
Thank you very much, Christina and Bernardo. Then perhaps we can tackle the last question just submitted by Ana Maria. I believe it's a good one. If you could describe a typical day in this MBA program.
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe I'll let the students answer, meaning Bernardo, if you want to answer.
Sure. So as Christina mentioned, it's a busy program because you're doing a year and a half to 2 years worth of work in about a year, but you're not doing it alone. So you're going to be in the classroom for about 8 hours a day, if not more sometimes. And then when you're out of the classroom, after you get that glass of wine and refuel, you're going to have to spend a couple more hours doing a lot of studying, and then later in the program, working with your consulting teammates to be able to put together your projects for your consulting exercise. So it's the work hard, play hard attitude. You're going to be pushed to your limit. You're going to discover that you can overcome your limit. Sometimes I'd spend an hour or two teaching someone, statistics because they were struggling with it, because the teacher is on the call right now. Dr. Al's class is not a piece of cake, but at the same time, I needed help with another subject. So I had another student teach me one of the other disciplines. So you're there for each other, and trust me, I come from Brazil. We have a great carnival out there. When I heard that Italy had a beautiful carnival as well, we took a train and we go straight to Venice, and we thought, okay, well we'll leave. We'll catch the last train at 11 p.m. Well, forget about that. We stayed until 5 a.m., which was the next train that was going to come over. So you're going to work hard, but you're going to party hard. I just don't recommend going to class like I did after coming back at 5 a.m. That's the only thing I don't recommend.
Thank you very much. Which should in part actually also answer David's question. David is saying that for some candidates, attending this program would mean to leave their job and do an investment without working for a year. What would you say it would be the best value they would gain in order to make this experience and sacrifice worthy?
Well, you're getting an MBA. When I interview the MBA candidates, I'm looking for someone that's in transition. A lot of times you're looking at a young person that's been working in a variety of jobs. They've gained a lot of experience interacting with other people, and they've gotten really good at it. The MBA is a degree that credentializes that. It makes it clear that you have those skills, even though they may not be implicit in the MBA that you're taking. So you are backing away from a year. You are pulling yourself out. You're not pulling yourself out for 2, but you're pulling yourself out for 1. And your expectation is that you're going to bring together all that work experience. You're going to get yourself some new skills, and as a consequence, you're going to see your salary go up, your opportunities go up, and that's going to pay back that 1 year that you've left off. And again, it's one of the reasons we choose our candidates very, very clearly. The questions that we're concerned about in the interview process is making sure that this person is in transition. We can add value to their experience so that in fact that 1 year investment they make is a good investment, both for them and for us.
Thank you very much, Al. I'm getting a lot of messages through the chat panel as well. Rest assured, we will try to address as many as we can today. But let's see, moving on in the Q&A. But actually, I do apologize before moving on the Q&A. As we see, we are taking on your questions. And as it happens, we also have 4 short questions for you guys in the form of a poll, which I just opened up. Should be a matter of a minute for filling it out, with the first question being if you are interested in having an evaluation of your profile, and what feedback can you provide for the upcoming webinars, if perhaps you're interested in applying, as well as which aspect of the program do you think would be most useful to you. So thank you very much in advance for filling out the poll. Please do make sure to click on that submit button once you're done answering, otherwise your effort will be lost. So thank you very much. And now continuing with the Q&A, let's see. There was a question regarding the GMAT and how it's administered.
Okay, the GMAT is actually the Graduate Management Admission Test is a test that we don't administer. It's administered by an organization, an outside organization all over the world. Whoever is interested in taking it, they just need to go to MBA.com. That is the organization that runs this program, this test. It's done all over the world. You take it with online. In most of the places, though, you have to go in person, but you're taking it on a computer. And the score that we would like to see is actually a score. I saw that there was also this question, so I'm going to take advantage and answer. We would like to see a score above 550. That's the GMAT score that we require.
Christina, thank you very much indeed. Inga would also like to know if the program is available online.
No, it's not. And it's not for the very reason that Al explained early on. We talk about not just about the knowledge part, but we need to work on the person. And to work on the person, we need to have them physically here. So we need to work with the interactions, the coaching, and all of that, and that it's done only in person.
Thank you very much once again, Christina. Now let's see a question from Jordan. Asking, do they have to be accepted to a graduate program before applying to CIMBA, or is this an all-inclusive program where they can achieve their MBA without being accepted to another university beforehand?
Yes, we are University of Iowa, so when they are applying to the graduate school. I mean, we are applying to the University of Iowa MBA program. So there's no need to apply to anything else. Once they apply with us, they are immediately, I mean, if they are accepted, they become a student of the University of Iowa.
Thank you. Let's see Nicola's question. Is it possible to stay longer in the States after graduating in order to get a visa and a working permit?
No, unfortunately, the students are staying in the U.S. only for 1 month, so that doesn't allow them to stay for like the internship programs or other programs that have the 2 years that allow them to stay for a little bit longer. So they can stay only for the period that is allowed by the visa, unless, of course, they are able to find a company in the meantime that sponsors them for their job there.
Thank you very much. I believe, Christina, the next question from David also might be for you. David is asking that after graduating from CIMBA, what's the percentage of students that find a job within the next 3 to 6 months from the end of the course?
I would say 100%.
Very good news then for David. And let's see, moving on, how many people apply for the program each year?
To tell you the truth, we have a system for which we don't let people go through the entire, we don't waste their time, so to say. So we have some of the people that have already been that I see on the line actually are some of our candidates. We a couple of an informal and a formal interview, so we don't practically get them through all the application if they are not what we consider good candidates. But we get quite a number of applicants, But again, that doesn't mean that you're not the right person. If you are interested, do apply.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Alea is asking, do most students have full-time jobs secured before they graduate from the CIMBA program?
No, it varies, and this is because a lot of people are interested then in moving, maybe like Al was saying, they are in transition, and so sometimes they are looking for opportunities maybe to stay in Italy, or maybe like Laura, to go from Italy to the UK, and so not necessarily everyone is immediately is employed before they finish, and also because really it's another job to find the job, and so with everything that goes on in the program is also sometimes time consuming. But by the time, as I said, within the 3 to 6 months, everyone has a job, and I would say that the people that start early, of course, have better chances. But others, as I said, maybe they're interested in evaluating other countries, and so it takes a little bit of time.
Thank you very much. Let's see, Inga would also like to know if innovation management is covered as a part of the course, part of the program.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you very much. Now allow me just quickly to check on the progress of the poll. Thank you to those that have finished it, much appreciated. To the few that haven't started it yet, we do have a poll underway, which you should be able to find on the right side of the platform within the polling panel. Should be beneath Q&A and beneath chat. And now let's address the few questions that were submitted privately through the chat panel. Let's see, Ashraf has a good question. Is the program available for definite countries, or is it an open application?
Sorry, I didn't see the question.
If the program is for international candidates or from some specific countries only?
No, for any country, yes.
Perfect. Let's see, unfortunately those questions now you won't be able to see, as they were submitted in chat and they were submitted privately. But let's see, this one was covered. Perhaps if there's a way, I have a couple of questions regarding scholarships. Is there a way that they would get, sort of the question is it possible to get a fully funded scholarships that would include the living costs?
No.
Thank you very much. And then a more specific question from Richard, saying if you could elaborate on what some of the programs, in addition to the MBA curriculum, like life management coaching, Kepner, Trego, what do they entail?
Well, we can go one, but I mean, they would require a lot of explanation. But just to start with LIFE, LIFE stands for Leadership Initiative for Excellence, and it's a 2.5-day, very experiential workshop, and it's literally almost the starting point of the personal development program that the students go through. It's a bonding experience for the students, but it's also a self-discovery workshop, in the sense that really you discover who you are in relationship to the others, to yourself. You set your goals, you set kind of the path that then you're going to be working on throughout the year with your coach. And that's what the coach, it's the start point for the first coaching session as well. We have professional ICF certified coaches that will actually help the students in this path throughout the year. And it's about the personal development. It's not, please do not think of a career coach only. I mean, it's not a person that does a job that is helping somebody else. That we do in terms of career coaching as well, through in some specific seminar, and also some mentorship program that we have with alumni. But this is something different. It's more about the personal development. In terms of the Cabinet Figo, that is a program, again, where they go through problem solving and decision making. They also go through project management. These are all seminars that give them all the skills and that are integrated in our program and throughout all the classes. So as they go through the classes, when there is any kind of decision analysis that needs to be done, they'll be using the tools that they learn with these programs.
One of the things I'd like to add is, and we sort of underplayed it, but it's a major part of our program. When a student goes through the LIFE program, and we've had thousands of people now, mainly executive audiences, go through this. It's a highly sought-after experience. A participant is going to be wearing very sophisticated technology that's going to be able to measure levels of stress. There'll be hormonal tests matched against cognitive tests, so you can begin an idea of how you perform, how your team performs under stress. In total, the LIFE program pulls down on average 120 gigabytes of data. They're all processed. It's all private and confidential to the participant. If they elect, they share it with the coach. This becomes the basis for the coaching that goes on from that point. There are a series of those throughout the year. All of them are very focused on high-level technology. You know, I guess the way to put this in perspective, there's a foundation that supports every full-time student that goes through this, that pays for the technology, pays for the coaching, pays for the facilitation and all the assessments, and that allocation is in the 20,000 euro range per year. But that's provided as part of the program, and it's not something that we make an issue out of, but it's very demanding. From my perspective, I think that is the most demanding part of the program. It's also the most rewarding, and I think you heard that both from Laura and from Bernardo.
Thank you very much, Al, for your contribution. Let's see, Angela says that she has been admitted for the fall of 2017 and would like to know what is the maximum scholarship that she could get as a student and how would she go about with housing?
Okay, in terms of the scholarships, it depends on the nationalities and but there's never a full scholarship, so there's no full scholarships available, but she can definitely get like the diversity that are in the 10 they may be able to add some others, but it's certainly not full amount. In terms of housing, we have some specific, actually at the beginning we have, at the beginning of the program we recommend everyone to come and stay on campus for a couple of days, and we have a person that assists all the students in finding housing. Because it's a community, as I said, that is very familiar with our program. We have specific apartments reserved, I mean, with the locals that are willing and actually welcoming our students. So typically, most of the times, people re-rent every year the same apartments where other students have been in the past. But we support the students in finding the apartments.
Thank you very much. Then we have two related questions from Richard and I believe David, yes, asking, does CIMBA have any partnerships with companies or corporates that would give the candidate more exposure and immediate possibility to start a job right after graduation?
Yes, sure. For example, one of the opportunities is always through the consulting project. A lot of times, the same companies offer a job to the team that, or to some people in the team that is working on the consulting project. So that's definitely one immediate opportunity. In addition, we have companies with whom we have agreements and people that come through the program generally. What we do, we send the resume to these specific companies so that they have, as I said, that the students also have access to this system to find jobs. That's something. There are companies, as I said, that come here specifically looking for a particular kind of candidates, because they know that our students are internationals, because they know that they are people that are willing to take their briefcase and suitcase and move, and so it's typically the kind of companies that are coming here are coming to look for international and people willing to international candidates or people willing to move, so to say, to go abroad and work, because they know they are able to work and live in an international environment.
If I can add to that.
Of course, Laura.
Yeah, so I actually, after doing my consulting project, I got hired by the company to continue and finish the project. So I think I'm a good example to see that the consulting project is really a good opportunity to then have it also a job opportunity. So my company actually was an Italian company working on recycling market, was looking to extend their applied product, their product in a different industry, and so at the end of the project, of the MBA, we finished at a certain point. They hired me to continue with the same project. So it was a really good experience. And I think Christina mentioned before, Pepner Trigger is actually a tool that we use as well in our consulting project. So we don't only learn the tool, but we get the opportunity to apply it in a consulting project.
Thank you very much, Laura. And as I have you already here, the next question is actually directed to you from Nicola. If you could tell us a bit more about your experience in the USA. Laura, I'm not sure if you heard me, but Nicola is asking you if you could tell us a bit more about your experience in the USA.
Are you asking to me? Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Oh yeah. So sorry, I didn't hear properly. So yeah, part of the MBA has been in the States as well. I think the course that we take in the States was actually one of the best, because we got the opportunity to apply all the learning that we have done throughout the months that we studied in Italy. Of course, we had the professor from the States. And the beauty of it was that we had the opportunity to simulate a business where we had to work and manage around all the parts of the business, so from marketing to operation to finance. So I think it was probably one of the best course we take and the best experience as well. And of course, you get the opportunity to go to Iowa University, and Iowa is a great town, and you get to live in the campus as well. So it's definitely a good opportunity.
Thank you very much, Laura. We have a peculiar question from Angela asking, have there been people who started the program but dropped out?
I was thinking, I'm kind of the institutional memory, since I was in the first class and then came back to work for the program, so I pretty much met everyone. No, I would say that it's rare that, I mean, we had one person, I think, for health reason, but other than that, people that come, I mean, we do our best to make sure that we select the person that is going to be successful in this environment, and so we do. We want to test for success, not for failure, and so because of that, again, if a person is committed, we are committed to make sure that the person will be successful as well.
Thank you once again, Christina. Let's see, Jordan would like to know how old is the average CIMBA student?
I would say in average, the full time is probably 27, but we range, we could go from 24 to 55, to tell you the truth. So it depends from year to year, because again, with the small class, the average can vary. I mean, in the part-time, clearly the average age is higher. So we are in 34. So when you are in class with that cohort, the average age is a little bit higher. But again, it varies from year to year.
Thank you, Christina. And I believe that it is then time to wrap up the session with this last question. Ashraf would like to have more information about the application process. I'm guessing the question here from Ashraf would be, when does it start? Perhaps when is the application deadline? As well as judging from the results of the poll, we do have some candidates that are actually indeed interested in applying. So perhaps you can end on that note.
Yes. Well, the all application process is described in the website, so I recommend going there. But you can also contact me. You have the information here. We have deadline that is for international candidate that is in May, but we accept the candidates on a rolling base, so people can apply anytime right now. And again, if you need more information, just contact me. My email is visible there, and I can direct you again, because what we would like to do before you go through the full process is to talk to you and see, making sure that you are a fit for this program, and we are a fit for you.
Thank you very much. And on that note, actually it is time to wrap up the session, but before we do, just allow me to inform the audience that I pasted the link as to where you can apply online through the chat panel, and also you will be redirected as soon as you leave the session or we end this webinar. So to wrap it up, allow me to thank our attendees firstly for joining today's live session, for joining today's webinar. I sure hope that this session was informative. Moreover, I sure hope that some of you are actually considering and will end up applying to the CIMBA MBA program. And of course, a special thank you to today's lovely panel of 4, El, Cristina, Bernardo, and Laura. Thank you very much for taking the time, and once again for sharing your expertise. Perhaps any last-minute closing comments before we say goodbye from you guys?
No, I'd like to thank everyone, and I'm looking forward to maybe meeting some of the participants in Italy and welcoming you here.
Thank you very much, then. Perhaps something from you, El, or perhaps from Bernardo or Laura?
Again, thank you very much for the attention and for the good questions. And I, too, look forward to interesting candidates. It's a very challenging program, and we're looking for the right kind of people to take full advantage of it.
Thank you guys for the opportunity to let me contribute to CIMBA a little bit. I'm also available on LinkedIn at just type in my name, Bernardo Medeiros. I just wanted to expand a little bit on the fact that you're tapping into the University of Iowa alumni network as well. And so there were a lot of questions about how do you get a job afterwards. There's a very strong network you can do. So take advantage of that as well for questions, or even, if you're not part of the program, we're here to help.
Perhaps a last word from you, Laura?
Yeah, so I also would like to thank you for the opportunity to talk again about my beautiful experience and really great learning experience at CIMBA, and as well as Bernardo. If you have any query or would like to contact me directly, please do so. And just CIMBA is not just the learning, cool MBA and finance and marketing, but it's much more. So I really hope you can enter the program and welcome the opportunity for 1 year for yourself, really, to learn about yourself, how you will be a leader of tomorrow. All the best.
Thank you very much this time to all of the participants. And this is Simon signing off by wishing you a good morning, perhaps a good afternoon, or a good evening from wherever you may be. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Thanks.